are starting to get really interesting with U.S. immigration. Can Donald Trump give you a green? Hey guys, before you file for your spouse, hello guys, freedom now, come on in, join today's live Q&A show. We're gonna go through some immigration questions that are on your mind. Hey there, Kwaku, come on in, say freedom now and say where you're watching from today. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients globally at McBean Law, where we believe that freedom is now, it's urgent. It's what we believe in, it's what we stand by, and it is even more urgent today than ever. Hey, Michelle, Karen, good to see you. Jacqueline, Angela, terrific. You guys are the best. My apologies for being just a few minutes late. Oscar is joining from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Friends, our contact information is scrolling above, okay? Cambria Heights, Queens is in the house, which is not very far from here, but you may reach out to us at 914-898-9488. The contact information is scrolling above. I hope you guys had a terrific weekend. There's so much that I've been sharing with you about immigration changes. We're not going to really dive into many of those details today. Today, I'm going to turn to your immigration questions, okay? We're here for you at McBean Law, where we are on standby. You could book a consultation with an attorney who will ask you questions about your problems, look at your record, go a little deeper, and provide you with strategies for moving ahead, if there are strategies under our law, okay? Hey, I see a lot of New Yorkers are here. Guys, tell me where you're watching from today, okay? I see South Carolina is here, D.C., Washington, D.C. DeWitt is with us from D.C. For those of you who caught yesterday's premiere video with me, thank you so much for being with me at 5 o'clock yesterday on Sunday. It was a nice chat. If you have not seen that video, guys, go watch it. It is a information-packed video about major changes that are coming to U.S. visa services globally, and what the Trump administration is really working on, and a new executive order that the president signed on February 12th that will have a huge impact on bringing people to the United States. Millions of people, guys, will be slowed down over the next 4 years from entering into the United States with a visa. That's what I covered in yesterday's video. Watch it today if you have not yet seen it. All right, excellent. So let's turn to your immigration questions, okay? Let's turn to the immigration questions. Paula, thank you for this question. She says here, let me just fix my format, okay? Paula says that I see that they have meetings 5 days ago about the Dignity Act. Did you hear anything about it? I have not heard anything specifically about any meeting or movement on the Dignity Act. We are trying to track some legislation. One of my colleagues is tracking legislation on both the House and Senate side. We'll dig into what's potentially going on with the Dignity Act, okay? We'll make note of that. Type in freedom now. All right, Orlando is asking a question about USCIS staffing levels. How can they fire USCIS staff if they are fee funded? So yes, Orlando, yesterday I told you guys, well, maybe not you guys, social media people, those on Instagram and Facebook, that the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, fired 400 people this weekend. 50 of those individuals worked at USCIS. Orlando is correct in that USCIS is funded by your filing fee. So why in the world did they include those 50 people in the mix? Well, in my little video yesterday, I said the reason I think they did that is because they are working on a very coordinated plan to slow down and frustrate immigration process and here in the United States through USCIS, at the NVC National Visa Center level, at U.S. embassies and consulates around the world. So they are looking to just do a major slowdown. So fewer bodies means that that your cases will be pending longer. And in my little video, which I think that we'll share here on YouTube as well, I mentioned that you've got to be proactive. You will need to be proactive over the next 4 years to fight against the unreasonable delays with your cases. And that's what we're going to be doing here at McBean Law for our clients as well. Are there any changes to the I-797? So dynamic, there is no such thing, right? As you know, what you're referring to called the I-797 is just a receipt or a letter that USCIS sends to individuals about the status of their case, whether the case has been received and it's being processed, or whether they've taken some action on the case, like you know, maybe you need a biometrics notice, or maybe you have gotten an approval or something like that, or you know, that it's just an update about your case. Florida, you guys, you know, you've got to be on alert. Be on alert, guys. Be on alert, because those two states in particular are being very, very aggressive with immigration crackdown within the state. All right. So Texas and Florida, watch out. Okay. Let's keep going. I see Brooklyn is here. Keep going. Let's see. Where are the questions? Let's see. Someone, Maria says, I have a bona fide determination letter last week. I'm waiting for a work permit. Great. That's good. You're getting closer. I have an administratively case that a case that was closed in 2014 in removal. You have an administratively closed case in removal. Is that what you're asking? What is going to happen with these two cases? So Maria, in order to intelligently answer that question, we would need to it sounds like you have a U visa case. I'm assuming maybe that's what you have pending with the bona fide determination. And then you have a removal case. Let me go ahead and close out of Teams so that I'm not distracted here, okay? So we will need to take a look at the removal case to see when it will make sense to try to recalendar that. We, you know, most likely we would want to leave that case alone if you have a good U visa case. That could potentially help you to get a lawful status. Now, the only wrinkle that could potentially happen over the next 4 years is if DHS attempts to recalendar your case to move your process along, then your attorney on the file will need to obviously handle the defense in court. You have potentially a U visa case. You might get a green card through a U visa. So I don't see what the point would have been anyway with DHS recalendaring you. But because they are being very aggressive these days, a smart attorney on the file will need to be able to guide you along the way. But for now, it sounds like you're in good shape. Don't worry too much about this. Sounds like you're on track, okay? I see that Maryland is here. Good to see you guys from Maryland. Maine is in the house. Bar Harbor, Maine. Great, Connecticut. All right. Hey there, Mike. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Do I need to walk around with my I-94 record when visiting on my B1, B2? So if you're a visitor, you're here lawfully in the United States, you don't have anything to worry about. The government is not targeting you, visitor, who you're here in your lawful period of time here in the United States. I know things seem really crazy right now with immigration, and that's because it is. But at the same time, as I've always been telling you guys, keep things into perspective. There are 3 categories, again, of individuals who this government is targeting at this time for enforcement. Number 1, those who have a criminal conviction, a record that the government knows about. And there are over 600,000 people that they know about with this kind of record. Number 2, they are targeting individuals with a final order of removal. Okay, there are over 1 million in that category. And then number 3, they're going after the people who the Biden administration paroled into the United States over the last 2 years. They've canceled those parole opportunities. They're looking to do more aggressive action of putting those individuals in removal, either through a notice to appear process or through notice to appear process or through expedited removals. Let's move that. Okay. So everyone else, the rest of you, please do not worry about any of this, okay? All right. Let's keep going. What about the F4 category for siblings filed in 2008? Check the visa bulletin for March, okay? There's very slow, very little movement in these categories, particularly the F3 and the F4 categories. Check your country on that chart and just see what's going on there, but very slow process. Let's see. VAWA, yes, with VAWA, one is able to do early naturalization. Watching from Florida, good to see you. New Rochelle, right down the road, neighbor. Hello, Anthony, our neighbor. He is with us in the house today. Okay, let's see. All right, so guys, just a reminder that this is a public forum being monitored and maybe even being recorded by others, okay? So what I'm asking you to do is use a little wisdom in terms of the questions that you're asking. And in particular, if you have your full name on your profile here. So I'm going to exercise some discretion as well. And if I see your full name with very confidential information that you're sharing here, I will skip over your question and I will not put your question on this forum for the sake of trying to protect you. Okay, so if I skip over you, for some of you, that will be the reason. Okay, not because I'm trying to ignore you, but just use some wisdom here. Okay, and some discretion with your questions. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Someone is asking, he says that, or she says, I'm married to a US citizen. I filed the marriage petition. I just did my biometrics. Will there be a slowdown with me getting the work permit? These days, the work permit has been taken 1 to 3 months. That's what I still know it to be. But I do expect there to be a slowdown because the federal government is reducing their staff and they are looking to slow everything down really with immigration. But hopefully you won't be caught up into that. You've progressed. And I expect that you should be able to get your work permit very soon. Okay, David says VAWA doesn't seem to be moving. No, well, not true. VAWA cases are still being processed within the 3-year time. Okay, Miami is in the house. Good to see you. Okay, this is good news. Good news. Coming from King Jezzy says that I just concluded my removal proceeding and the judge was super nice. Finally got my green card. Thank you so much for your support and informative discussions. King Jezzy, congratulations. Guys, let's congratulate him. Here you have someone who was in removal, got his green card through the immigration judge. We love to see this happen and we love when it happens to our clients as well. So congratulate him today. That's great news. Great news. Let's see. My lawyer is going to be filing a waiver for me, and I've been married for 7 years. I have my work permit. Can they deport me? What type of waiver is being filed for you, Kevin? Is it an I-601A waiver because you're unable to get your green card here through your spouse? Normally, like I said, they're not really focusing on individuals in this particular situation. All right, so I think that you'll be fine. Emmanuel, thank you for that. I don't know if you've worked with us. You might have. I don't know. Maybe. Thank you for that. Um, Someone says Victoria says that she has her fiance approval last year, waiting on the interview. So, if anyone is trying to bring someone to the United States, you should expect over the next 4 years that there will be a slowdown and a real fight. Okay. Hopefully, your fiance will get his interview soon. Soon, okay? The government is in the process of revamping the Foreign Affairs Manual, which they said they will either, in the executive order, that it will be either revised or completely gotten rid of. And that will turn everything upside down at the State Department and with visa processing and how they evaluate your applications for visa and all of that. Okay, so if you have an opportunity now to move forward with a visa renewal, do it. Go for it right away, right away. And then if your case is caught up over the next 4 years in the slowdown, then work with an attorney who could be aggressive on your behalf. Okay. Thank you guys. Let's see. Okay, so DACA holder. Dee Dee says, I'm a DACA holder. Wanting to apply for advanced parole. I had a deportation case. I was able to get it dismissed through an immigration judge. Terrific. Do I also need to apply for a 601 waiver? So, do you have an attorney who is thinking through your strategy right now? Very important that you work with someone on this. I don't know if you're going to need a 601 for inadmissibility issues. What it sounds like you reference advanced parole. It sounds like you might need lawful entry on your record so that you could progress and do adjustment of status down the road. But as far as the 601 is concerned, I wouldn't know any details about you from the inadmissibility standpoint to say whether you're going to need a 601. Most people will not need a 601 based on the facts that you've just shared with me, but I'm sure there's a lot more to know, okay, about the background. All right. Freedom now, guys. Freedom now. All right. Let's scroll down. Hello, hello. Sakna, good to see you. Kevin, great to have you here. Kevin says, my wife overstayed her visa 5 years ago. We got married last year, and I did an I-130 for her in July, and the 485 and work permit were submitted 2 weeks ago. What are her chances? Probably very strong. Probably very strong of getting a green card through you. What's going on with EAD? A friend of mine filed EAD marriage based, but it's been pending for almost 200 days without a response. Something went wrong there. Okay, something must have gone wrong with that filing. Let's see. All right, I'm banning some people who are being belligerent towards others and bullying. And my colleague is also moderating. Good to see you, David. Let's see. What are the chances of those who came from Europe to apply for asylum in the US? Is third country affect the case? So Bali, what is your nationality? What country were you born in? And why did you leave that country? Let's start with those questions, okay? Before thinking about asylum. So of course, anyone who comes from any country where they are persecuted, either persecuted based on the grounds that our law says apply to asylum. Um, any individual can apply for asylum if they have the case, right? Um, Certainly, if an individual goes to another country, a third country, and stays there for a good while with what appeared to be the intent of settling there, well, then they don't have an asylum case in the United States. All right, let's go, guys. The American Families United is planning a trip to DC in March. They have meetings every Monday night on Zoom. Okay. They're trying to have the dignity reintroduced. For those of you who would like more information about the American Families United, go on their website, get on their mail-in list, their email list to get their updates. Watch them on TikTok as well and see what they're doing. They're advocating for mixed families, and they do a lot of advocacy work in Washington, D.C. to push things along. They were also very instrumental in the parole in place for spouses of U.S. citizens last year that unfortunately the Biden administration botched. They messed that up, the Biden administration. And so, but this is from what I understand, from a distance, a very good organization that is really pushing for good reform here that would impact a lot of people. So get involved in their advocacy work, okay? This is the time to come together and do things together. Let's see. I have DACA. My wife is a U.S. citizen. We just had a child. Well, I have to leave the country and enter legally. It just depends on did you have lawful entry into the United States to begin with? If so, is there a chance Trump could block me from coming back legally while staying in Mexico? So before you leave in for an embassy interview, work with your lawyer to evaluate your background carefully, and then go be prepared for your embassy interview, and you should be fine returning to the United States with the immigrant visa. The only wrinkle that is ahead of us on the embassy level, of course, as I said yesterday in my video, is the upcoming slowdown with interviews and processing of visa applications as a result of the fact that they're going to really cut staff, cut people down, cut down the number of people at U.S. embassies and consulates globally to a skeletal crew. So that's what I think is going to be like one of the biggest hurdles, in addition to travel bans to suspend entry for some people from some countries. But I think you'll be fine, Hector, despite the gloom and doom that I've just shared with you. All right. Thank you. So my colleague has put the link here in the chat for last night's video upload. Okay. About the visa slowdown that is expected. Visa service slowdown. So, Mookie, normally the government tries to interview or make a decision on the I-751 removal of conditions within that 48-month extension period, so that there would not be a need for another extension. Freedom Now, guys. It's so good to see you. Thank you for being here with me today. Freedom Now. Okay, here's a super chat which says that I'm currently in the citizenship process. I just got my biometrics. Will USCIS scrutinize our social media because I'm against the dictatorship? I'm against his dictatorship openly. Okay, I see what you're saying. So yes, they're already scrutinizing, even under the Biden administration, social media. Looking at people's social media was something that they did in some cases to put things together, particularly in marriage cases. I've seen it happen in marriage cases to confront individuals at an interview about the fact that they're really not in a genuine marriage based on facts that they saw pictures and posts on social media. So if your social media is open, meaning that it's not, your Facebook is not private or your Instagram is not private, then it's very easy for them to do that review, cursory review. If they need to go deeper, they're supposed to have some sort of subpoena or warrant that they send to the social media company to have more access to your account. Under this Trump administration, before they left office, they started a process to go deeper into social media, and they did not finish that policy or that plan. I suspect that they will obviously want to resurrect it and do more scrutiny of what people are saying on social media. But as far as you opposing the government openly, many of us are opposing the government openly, and I could understand why you might be concerned that they might try to look at your green card or citizenship application and say, oh, we saw that you oppose Trump, you called him a dictator openly on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and we're going to deny your case. Well, if that happens, obviously, and first of all, I don't think that will happen. And then number two, there are some civil rights violations and some other things going on there that you would potentially have a case. Maybe, I don't know. But I could understand why your thinking would be there, right? Why you would be so far down the road with that. But no, at this point, I do not see a connection. That's my opinion. I do not see a connection. All right. Let's keep going. I'm going to do that. I just banned a second person. Okay, let's keep going. We've got to get more aggressive with the banning. All right. It's very distracting. Please. Okay, let's go. Jack says that I just got married. When is the best time to file my paperwork with USCIS? Just got married. So, Jack, do you have evidence proving that you guys are in a real, genuine marriage? Do you have evidence showing how you met, how the relationship developed? Do you have photos? Do you have text messages? Those kinds of things. Do you have evidence of living together now that you guys are under one roof? Do you have any evidence about how you're starting to pull your finances together? Those are the things that you need to work on right now, and then put together a very good, strong, convincing case and file. For you, you might be able to do this right now. You might need another month or two. Whatever the case might be for you, just make sure that you file your case with the required evidence that they are asking for in the I-130 and the I-485 in particular, and the I-864, so that there won't be any slowdowns or delays with your case or a wrongful denial of your case based on missing documents and evidence, okay? Thank you, guys. Freedom now. Freedom now. Let's see. The K-1 process is still fine. It's intact. The only issue immersing is the expected slowdown at U.S. embassies and consulates across the globe. Because if you see this government currently saying that, well, we don't need all these people at the cybersecurity agency or at FAA, right? And they're terminating these critical positions. Why in the world will they keep all these people in Manila, Philippines embassy, or any embassy across the globe? That's, so the executive order that President Trump signed on February 12th laid the groundwork for what we're expecting to be a lot of layoffs at these embassies across the globe. Because are these essential functions? We don't need all of these people, right? Think about it. That's what they're going to be doing. Watching from Tennessee. Good to see you. How long after USCIS has received your medical for your case to be approved? So, anointed to live. It depends. What type of case do you have? Is this a marriage case? You can look at the USCIS processing times for the type of case that you have pending and the location. It just depends. Um, for some cases, they're approved in less than a year. For other cases, they are taken. The I-130 nowadays, just so you guys know, is taking a lot longer to be approved, over a year, for many cases. So, anointed to live, it's kind of hard today to answer questions about how long something will take. Thank you. Let's keep going. What new law did Texas pass as it relates to Florida? So, Darlene, I made the connection earlier. I'm not, no new law specifically. I made the connection earlier because Texas has for a while now been aggressive with immigration crackdown. Okay. And some things that they did, I think, last year, as a matter of fact. Um, I don't know the law off the top of my head from Texas because I only retained so much. But Texas had passed something very aggressive last year to empower local law enforcement. As you know, Darlene, they are just generally, the governor there is very aggressive with immigration crackdown. And so, in my view, Texas is one of those states like Florida where they are looking um, to really crack down. What are the chances of approval of my Form I-601 on alleged marriage fraud slash misrepresentation? So if you file a 601 waiver to only to address marriage fraud, then you won't be successful with that because the 601 doesn't cure marriage fraud. If you're saying, well, there were some other allegations and maybe some misrepresentation that I was accused of, well, yes, the I-601 can address those other issues, but it cannot cure marriage fraud itself. There is a bar to adjusting your status if you're if you had participated in marriage fraud. Mike is asking visa slowdown or visa pause. Mike, I'm very intentional about the words that I choose to use, and I use the word slow down for a reason. Slow down. Okay. So Kayla says that category F1, after being approved for a green card and entering the United States, does someone have to wait for the actual green card to arrive in order to get married? It's the end. So the rules say that once that you should not change your status until after you have entered into the United States with your immigrant visa. Okay, that's what the rules say. Let's see. Someone says that I had a 212C waiver and an EB2 as skilled worker. I'm a citizen. I'm a citizen. That's what I see. I'm a citizen. Am I okay to travel? Citizens are okay to travel. I don't know too much more about your background, why a U.S. citizen would ask, am I okay to travel? Is there something else there? Um, just so you guys know, for those who had applied for asylum in America, you're basically saying to our government that you cannot go back home for various reasons. So be very careful about the idea of traveling back to your home country as a green card holder or even as a U.S. citizen because the government sees it as fraud. Freedom now, guys. DACA renewal submitted under review. What can be done if it expires before the renewal? My understanding, Alfred, we don't do a lot of DACA cases around here. We typically work on the bigger problems, but the DACA renewals were happening extremely fast before Joe Biden left office. And a lot of people have been were testifying about that. I don't know where things are at right now with that timeline. Let's see. And I'm Bannon Kelly. Um, let's see. Let's keep going. Keep going. Let's see. Okay, have there been any changes to the rules for citizenship? No, there have not been. Can you travel while your I-130 is pending? You can travel if you have an advance parole that allows you to leave America and come back in. But just by having an I-130 pending alone doesn't mean that you should leave, you should travel, because you can be banned from or barred from coming back if you don't have your advance parole. Okay. Let's see. Now, this is a super chat. Is the COVID-19 still needed for the NVC immediate relative cases? Today, based on what I understand, I have not seen any update as it relates to the COVID vaccine requirement for those going through the visa process, the immigrant visa process. It's no longer required for those doing adjustment of status in the United States. But as far as the State Department goes, I have not seen any update yet about it for visa applicants. Again, guys, you've got to remember what kind of government you're working with now. They are not looking to make anything really easier, particularly for those outside of the United States trying to come in. But I'm waiting to see that update. I'd love to see it happen. Let's see. Let's keep going. Freedom. Now, let's just keep let's keep it to questions only. If we see as we review this afterwards that you're just putting out your political viewpoints about this or that, or harassing other people, we're going to ban you from the channel. It's just unacceptable, okay? It really is unacceptable. All right, let's see. Okay, so here's a good question. I am a green card holder through VAWA, and I'm due for citizenship. Do you advise that I apply under this current condition when that time comes? I don't have any past criminal issues. So for the individuals who are eligible for citizenship and you don't have any, you got your green card the right way without major errors by USCIS during the approval process. You didn't omit anything. You didn't submit false documents. You didn't commit fraud or misrepresentation. Then you're fine to apply for citizenship if you meet the other eligibility requirements for citizenship. Now, I still think now is a good time for citizenship because you should be free next year from all of this immigration drama, right? You want that freedom. But if you have any inkling of fear or concern about whether or not you should pursue citizenship, speak with a lawyer about what those fears or concerns are, okay? Freedom now. My son is underage. He is undocumented. He was living with his father, and the father was abusing him. Your son might have a case against a case for either under VAWA for victim of domestic violence, or he might have a U visa case. If the father is not a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, you could reach out to us to speak with us about this case and see whether he might have a chance of getting a green card. Also, there's the possibility that he might be even eligible for SIJ, the Special Immigrant Juvenile Status process, for youth who have been abandoned, neglected, or abused. So reach out to us. We'd really like to help you. And then yeah, his father is locked up. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back up here. I thought I saw. Okay. Same person says, I tried reaching out to your firm but didn't get any answers to setting up an appointment. Shakila, it takes calling us. You may have to call back if you choose to. Call him back, speaking to a receptionist, and if the times work for you as far as our availability, then they'll make the booking happen. You could also email us at info@mcbeanlaw.com and say, I'm trying to book an appointment. Please call me back at this number and tell us the best time to reach you. Sometimes we call people back, not saying that this is your case, but sometimes we call them back and your voicemail is full, or if you're like me, I don't check voicemail. I don't like my phone to ring, right? I don't like it to ring. So some people just don't check their voicemail. And so we leave our message and you don't get it for some of you, okay? But try again if you'd like to meet with us. We'd be happy to help you. Let's see. Are they going to cancel the U visa or change U visa? So canceling your visa is something that Congress has to do if the government ever gets to that point. It's a congressional change that is action that is required. Yes, they could change some rules as it relates to the U visa, but as far as getting rid of it, that's something that Congress will need to handle. What is our phone number? It's scrolling above. It might be hard for you to see it if you're watching this today on a cell phone, but it's 914-898-9488. Or you could just go to mcbeanlaw.com and you'll see all of our contact details there. And you'll also see it on YouTube as well and Facebook. Freedom Now, guys. Let's see. Let's go down. How long will it take someone after the married couple interview? How long will it take someone after the married couple interview last for? I'm not sure what you're asking, Umar. Keep going. I don't have any news right now on the H-1B, and just so you know, honestly, I have not been tracking. There are some other immigration lawyers on YouTube who are doing an excellent job, and from time to time, I even watch them with their updates on the employment side of things. I don't have the bandwidth to keep up with all of that. I got my green card 6 months ago. Is it safe to go? Is it good to go on vacation now? Chris is asking. Chris, what? Congratulations, right? Welcome to permanent residency, and you can travel with your green card. It's the government has to let you back in. You're a permanent resident now. A live representative from USCIS told me that my interview was waived. Should I believe that? So, Angelica, that person could be right about things. That I don't see any reason why not to believe that. Okay, guys, we're wrapping up. See, here's another example of the I-130 slowing down that I've told you guys about. I filed my I-130 from June. I still have not gotten an approval yet. That's not uncommon. They have really, really slowed down on the I-130 cases. Okay, let's see. Is the administration still processing SIDGE cases? Yes, yes, they are, Angela. Yes, there's just a backlog right now with the SIDGE. You could Google the March visa bulletin and you'll see what's going on with that category. It's just a backlog. Is it okay to do the I-130 online and then mail the 485 concurrent filing? separately. So here, I could just tell you what we do here. We don't like to split it up. We don't trust the system, so we don't split it up. We do everything by mail. If this is an I-130 I-485 case, we're putting it all together in one packet and sending it out. So, friends, that's the last question that I can take today. I'm going to start my consultations for this afternoon. Reach out to us again at 914-898-9488 and follow us on social media so that you're always in the loop with what's going on here. And subscribe to, guys, at mcbeanlaw.com/subscribe to get our newsletter. We sent out a terrific story last night about how we were able to help our client who got his green card after having a removal order for 14 years. We really love helping people in those circumstances. We have a lot of experience with these long, you being here for many years, and removal cases and many different types of cases. Reach out to us. We'd be happy to help you. Guys, I will see you in the next update on either YouTube as things happen, or certainly on social media where I also go live in the evenings. Thanks so much for being with me. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.